in a while. And recently, Abhi and I recorded my episode of his podcast, Funds and Founders. And we were kind of talking during that recording, like, hey, let's do a live stream together. Let's build something for your podcast and tracking episodes and guest information. And I thought that it would be really cool to do this as a Build With Me. And so if y'all are new to Build With Me live streams, basically what we do is I talk through process. You literally get a behind the scenes, pull the curtain back, so to speak, of how I build. And so you are going to get a full walkthrough of what it looks like to build a production tracker in Notion today. So keep in mind, guys, if you are not building in Notion, you can still copy this. You can do it in Trello. You could do it in Airtable, really whatever platform works for you. But the main goal here is that we are capturing all of the crucial data to make sure that the podcast production backend is successful. So if you haven't already done so, smash that subscribe button. Tell your friends, tell your family, tell your dog, tell your neighbor that this is the live stream and the place to be. But without further ado, I want to introduce my friend Abhi, and I'm going to let you intro yourself, talk a little bit about the podcast, how long you've been doing it, and the other stuff that you're in, because I feel like we met at like a random event, or no, wasn't it Tech Week? We met at Tech Week.
Tech Week.
Yeah. So, you're very involved in the Austin community. And so I would love for you to just tell everybody about it.
Sweet. But no, thanks for having me on. I think from a bottleneck perspective, this has been something I really want to solve. I started the podcast in December, and I've tried a bunch of random stuff to, track the holistic life cycle. So hopefully this unlocks me getting to 100 episodes, because I'm at 44 right now. But yeah, been in Austin. I think we met at Tech Week. Do a lot of startup events, do a lot of events, run a software company. We help folks build 0 to 1, build their MVP, go to market, and then started the podcast in December with the idea of capturing the real journey of entrepreneurship. I have this thesis that social media pushes a lot of success and easy success, and all you see is titles of people exiting companies and making millions of dollars. And realistically, the average age of a successful founder, I think, is 46. And so I think a lot of people get this wrong, that it's a journey, it's going to take time, and you got to be in it for the journey and not for the payday. And so goal of the podcast is just to cover those realistic scenarios and just trying to help people understand whether they should be an entrepreneur or not. But yeah, that's sort of the TLDR on what the pod is. Subscribe YouTube. I'm at 495 subscribers. So if I get 500,
do it.
Milestone for me. But yeah. If anyone listening wants to come on the show, just ping me, email me, whatever. And I'm happy to have you on and talk about your journey.
And we also, just as like a quick shout out, I have been on several podcasts over the years. They're always virtual. And yours was the first podcast I've ever done in person, in studio. And the pressure that I felt, like, because I was like, oh my God, I have to like get dressed and be ready and like have all this stuff. And then I show up to the space, and it's like this really cool podcast studio that's in a CrossFit gym. It's like the most random.
It's an Austin. It's a very Austin thing. Very Austin thing.
Yeah. But it's just it's very like want to be Joe Rogan. And it was like the coolest experience that I've ever had. And I think that's a huge testament to you and your experience, because you were so prepared. You had notes, like the audio, the video. I'm just like, man, I want to be you when I grow up. So that is just a testament to the hard work you've done, even though you've only done 44 episodes. Yeah. And so it's like, man, like this is your lane and you are good at it. So let's get rid of this bottleneck and let's get you to 100 episodes and actually get production to not be so stressful for you. And one thing I do want to mention for those watching is that publicly facing, you would never know that Funds and Founders is having a bottleneck on the back end. So when I was invited onto the show, there was this really sleek process. I got an email to schedule time and to fill out a questionnaire. And so I do want to make sure that we also talk about that process too, and how that can then feed into this, because we know Notion forms are coming out. And so I'm even thinking about, that questionnaire that you
Notion
have.
sponsor me.
Yeah, right. Hashtag. But we really talk about that too, of the potential of moving that form in so that data is automatically within this space for you. And you don't have to have all of these external tools to actually produce this show as well. So I'm going to go ahead and start screen sharing. And also to the new people that have come in, welcome. We're so glad that you're here. Okay, so let's dive in and first start a want list / a pain point list. So let's start with the pains. What in this bottleneck are you having the primary issues with? Walk
So
me
I
through what
think
those look like.
I would break up production into sort of three separate steps, right? So the first step
Mhm,
is qualifying, reaching out to a guest, getting them to come on the show. Once they've done that, there's a process of, okay, do we need any pre-vetting questions? Do I need any information from you? Do we need to hop on a 10-15 minute call if you want to like not talk about some stuff, talk about some stuff? And like
mhm,
when to do it, scheduling, get you in studio. That's sort of the second part.
mhm.
The third part is me researching and being prepared for the show. And then the fourth part is all the post production, right? So once the episode
Okay.
is live, content production, shorts, reels, and then posting all of that across various socials, making sure assets are ready, reels are ready, cover page, whatever you need for that. And then
Mhm,
the appropriate LinkedIn pages, the appropriate LinkedIn posts, Insta
mhm,
posts, and then also communicating to the guest that, hey, episode is live, here's a bunch of assets, we'd love for you to share this, and a little
right.
bit of like sort of that push, right? And be like, hey, if
Mhm,
we've posted by the time we share, hey, can you
mhm.
reshare, right? So
Right.
I would say that's the 4 step process. From a pain
Okay.
point of view,
Mhm,
out of these two really step out to me. One is from the qualifying part. I've reached out to a lot of people. A lot of people have shown interest. Some people just don't reply in time, so you got to like, hey, like when do you want to come on? When do you want to come on, right? And
mhm,
so being able to track that in some sort of CRM format of people I want to have on, people I have I reached out to them? If I have reached
mhm,
out to them, which channel have I reached out? Have they responded? And if they have, is it
mhm,
a yes, no, maybe? Do I need to follow up at a certain day? I think there's one or two like bigger names that I just didn't have time to schedule. I wasn't in Austin, and then they're still pending, and I haven't like
mhm,
followed up and be like, hey, when do you want to come on? Right? I have some
mhm,
guests in New York. I'm confirming, so I want
mm,
to try to get them all on the same day, fly out, like bang out
mhm.
4 episodes back to back in studio, and so that goes into like a sub bucket of the CRM, right? Like
Right.
podcasters in New York who've agreed, and then maybe some sort of status of like, okay, is some more urgent than the other?
Mhm.
Because if it is, I'll just do virtual. I won't
Right.
worry about that. That's
Right.
one bottleneck. And the other is on a post production side,
Okay.
tracking where an episode is, right? So,
Okay.
hey, like I think 37 is going out this week and I
Mhm.
have 44 recorded. So
Right.
knowing what's the status with all of them, and then on a per episode basis, thumbnail ideas, title ideas. Okay, how many shorts are we doing? Where are the shorts going? Are the shorts going to Insta, TikTok, LinkedIn, Facebook, LinkedIn personal page, LinkedIn business page? And then
Mhm.
ideally, I want it to go everywhere. And so
Mhm.
when an episode is recorded, having those
Mhm.
tasks and processes auto created of, okay, videos in Drive, editor has video. Does editor
Mhm.
need anything? Do I need to shoot any talking head clips? If not,
Mhm.
okay, does he have everything he needs? Okay, thumbnail, title ideas. Shorts are ready, reels are ready. They're posted. If my team is posting it, they post it. If I need to post it, I know that hey, Abhi needs to go post this here or
Right.
wherever, right?
Who is
That would be the
posting?
post production process.
Okay.
And let me know if you want me to stop or
No, that's great.
yeah.
Yeah, I think one
Um,
thing that's really interesting is how far in advance you record. And so I even think, like on top of status of an episode, really tracking from a calendar view
yeah,
what you have locked in versus like, you're talking like if we talk about someone coming into town and like let's say like we're like there's a hurricane and they can't come. Okay, can we push episodes up? What can we do to kind of
yeah.
have a few like completely done and banked, and tracking that information I think is crucial as well. So okay, so are there any other pain points that we haven't mentioned?
So based on what you were saying, so like guest comm cycle, so I want all of
Mhm,
those guest comms to be automated, right? Um, until you came on, I had a team doing this. Right now, I don't have a team
mhm.
doing this, and so
Got
I
it.
think guest comms are something that can be super automated. It's nothing
Mhm,
formal. It's
mhm,
nothing. So like, so, similar to how you were building out your workflow of touch points, I
mhm,
think there's just a four comm sequence where once I confirm you and whatever, if the trigger is a Google Calendar or whatever the trigger is, you get
mhm,
the emails. I already know when you're gonna air. I know when you're gonna record. Before the recording, if it's in studio, I have one email sequence which is like, "Hey, here's the studio. Here's how you get in. Here's my number. Here's any issues if
mhm.
you do." And so that should be based on when the recording date is, and then based on the live date. Hey, we have
Yeah.
a teaser coming out. We have this. We have assets. So whatever that comm cycle looks like.
Okay. When episode airs, expectations. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Cool. Yeah, and I think, one thing to think about with that too, looking back at my own, right? Like the trigger point could either be them scheduling their recording. It could also be when they complete that form, right? Like
Yeah.
there's a bunch
Yeah.
of different things. So we can definitely talk about um what that looks like in mine. And actually, little shout out to YouTube for fucking up my production schedule. There is a video that dropped this morning on my channel for everything that we're talking about, that live stream that I've been doing
Yeah.
for building my custom. It was supposed to go out tomorrow. Apparently it got posted overnight, so when we're done live streaming, everybody watching this, like, go give that video love. But one thing that I talk about in that video is mine is triggered by statuses in Notion. And so
Okay.
after like a sales call that I have, I literally will decide, okay, do I want to work with this client or do I not? And I think that's like qualifiers for you, right? Like, are they a good
Yeah.
fit or not? And then I change the status to send onboarding, and that's what triggers the whole workflow. And so we could also look at that too, that if someone shares interest with you, they fill out the form that you have, it's like, okay, cool, they either work or they don't, then that can trigger sending the
The email
booking
sequence.
and,
Yeah,
and
I like
all of
that.
those, right? Okay, so obviously goals are pretty straightforward here, but are there any goals that you want to have, or that you want to achieve from this build outside of the pain points, like any like wants or desires that would just elevate this in your workflow overall?
So I think if there's automations that we can put in place, right? So
Mhm.
I know like Clay does this with like CRM prospecting. So
Mhm.
once I put someone in and I put their LinkedIn thing, just get
Mhm.
like the last title, last that. That could be a Zap or a Make.com
Mhm.
integration potentially. I think that would just make my life easier on being able to qualify. And then if I'm able to pull their location, that helps me plan accordingly. um,
Mhm.
it can also be an entered field. It just
Mhm.
removes the need for that. And I think
Mhm.
the other thing is having visibility on. So I think one thing I wanted to do, because I've switched a couple editors and production teams, I want to
Mhm.
start back posting content from episode one, right? So I have
Okay.
shorts and I have trailers. So is there a scheduling calendar we can build out that
Mhm.
along with current episodes, there's some mix of old episodes, and it doesn't have to be redone or re-edited, maybe just
Sure.
made better if it needs to be. But
Right.
I want to start cross posting that. I know LinkedIn's pushing a lot of video, and so I want to post all my video on LinkedIn and Facebook.
Mhm.
And I don't know if this is possible through automations, maybe if I
Mhm.
post on places that allow comments, I want the comment, because I post, there's an unsaid rule, you shouldn't post a link on a LinkedIn post that takes
Mhm.
them off the platform, and so
Sure.
it's always the comment. And can I auto post those comments or just have that data ready so I can just copy
Mhm.
paste, right?
Okay.
Because you can't really deep link to a Spotify link. I have to go to the episode once it's um what's it called, once it's uh processed through the RSS feed. I have to
Sure.
share the exact link to that episode, and so
Got it.
a place for me to track that, right? Once it's live, I can paste them and then auto
Yeah.
copy and be like, hey, YouTube, Spotify, Apple, whatever.
Yeah. That's actually one of the biggest pain points, I think, for content and social in general, is that there's really no platform that does that. Like you
Yeah.
can't pull analytics, you can't necessarily pull comments, but I do wonder, there's actually this platform, I have it bookmarked, called Assembly. It's a little expensive, but
Okay.
it's the first tool that, oh, and you can't see it. Sorry, let me change my screen share. It is, let me change this 1 second. Replace. Here we go. So Assembly, I don't know where I found them. I think it might have been Twitter, but they will pull your analytics and your posts and there's like no platform that does this. Like Later doesn't do it. None of the platforms do it. And so I haven't dived in fully, but I do wonder if there is potential for pulling in the comments from them, because you also can schedule in post on every channel. And so I do wonder, and like the cross posting is a new feature they just dropped. You can manage
Okay.
multiple accounts. So maybe take a look at them. They are a
Okay.
little
I'll take a look.
expensive, in my opinion. They're $45 a month, but if it does what you need it to do,
Yeah.
it's worth a try, you know? Um, so definitely look at that. But in terms of, I think what could work at minimum is we at least give you a space in order to save all of the comments per episode, like in the page in Notion, and then maybe you have a VA or something that
Yeah.
tracks it. Let
I
me
just
see.
I just sent you a link. It's just funny. You
Yeah.
said there's no place to get all the data. And so I worked with my team. I built this out. I haven't like
Okay.
followed through
Here,
completely with it.
let me screen share it. Hold on, so people can see.
Um, but the
Um,
idea and prompt was that for podcasting, because the video has become a really big thing for podcasting, no
mhm.
one is doing it really well in terms of
Yeah.
pulling audio, video data, and also if you use Megaphone Anchor or like
Mhm.
distribution networks, you get high level metrics. Spotify and Apple give you really deep metrics, listener drop off, and they give
Right.
you a lot more. Idea of this tool, which like is
Mhm.
85% there. I just couldn't find anyone to willingly pay for it. But
Right. Right.
the idea was get all the data in one place, show you deeper analytics, see what's performing, not performing,
Mhm.
what's doing better as video versus audio. But
Mhm.
um,
I
and
love
we just
this. You're always
yeah.
so innovative. Every time I talk to you, you're like, "Oh yeah, I built this tool. Oh yeah, I built this tool."
The problem is I can get to the tool is ready part. My
Uh-huh.
GTM sucks, right? I'm really bad at like
Got it.
shilling my own shit and getting stuff out there.
Yeah. It
And so I
sounds like
think
we need
that's
to do some
something.
product hunt launches,
Yeah, yeah.
push on
Um,
product hunt.
so
Yeah,
we'll see.
this is
But it's just funny.
interesting.
Yeah,
This is really interesting, especially now with like YouTube doing podcasts. Like you do want to be able to know, like I refuse to put Apple Podcasts on my phone. Like I will listen on Spotify, I'll listen on YouTube, but because the Apple Podcasts take up so much data on
yeah.
your phone, like literally I'll get notifications when I was using it that it was like your phone's out of storage, and it's like I don't do anything. And then it's literally the
100
whole,
gigs of
like,
podcasts.
exactly, that I don't even listen to, and it's like, what the heck, man?
There's a funny
Oh,
growth hack with deep linking on Apple as well. But
well, we need to do another live stream and just have a data conversation. I think that'll
yeah.
be really interesting. Okay. So any other goals, wants, dreams, hopes, desires?
No, I think that covers it for now.
Cool.
I think we covered it in the CRM section, but
Mhm.
being able to see prospective guests, guests I want that I have no connections to that I haven't even reached out, sort of
Yeah.
tracking that and not becoming too muddy. I tried
Okay.
this on an Excel. I tried making what was the tool I used? Monday.com. I had like a
Mhm.
Monday.com list. But it just felt like it wasn't giving me the view I wanted, where I had like 100 names in there, but I couldn't
Mhm.
really tell where someone is. Have I reached out, not reached out? And it was probably just me not setting it up correctly, but still.
Sure. Do you okay, so perspective have reached out, maybe declined
And
ask.
then like aspirational.
Oh. Mhm. Okay, what would be the difference between aspirational and perspective? Like perspective would be they're actually qualified versus aspirational is like Tim Ferriss. Like
Yeah,
that's like
yeah,
dream. Okay. Okay.
yeah.
Aspirational. I definitely spelled that wrong. It's okay. Okay. So Okay, let's go back to the Monday.com point.
Yeah.
So, what kind of views do you prefer seeing your data in? So, like if we're thinking about status for CRM, do you feel like grouping data might be good, or are you more of like a Kanban person and you
I
prefer like
like Canva.
vertical
I like
lists?
Kanban. I like
Okay,
Kanban views of like, hey, stuff in process, what's gonna happen next.
got it.
Um I think the only thing I'm not sure if Kanban makes sense for is
Mhm,
the production pipeline part of it.
for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think one thing to talk to my build style is that I always do a table view for all. And this is also for people listening too, is that it's helpful to always have an all view that's literally
Yeah.
no filters, no tagging, like it's just sorted alphabetically and that's it. And then based on the data, that's when we choose what I call the specialty views. So I think for you with CRM, we do an all view, we do a um uh like prospecting that has a couple of those different statuses in there.
Yeah.
We group those. And then we also have a view of like recent slash upcoming guests. So you can easily access their data. And obviously, we'll link that data into the episode. But let's say, like, the New York thing is a great example, right? Like, they're like, yes, I'm going to be on it. I've said yes, but we're trying to figure out travel.
A
So
date.
it's like,
Yeah.
okay, they're upcoming, they're confirmed, but they're not actually in a confirmed numbered episode yet.
Makes sense.
So let's go through this and build this first. We're going to do the CRM just to knock it out. And also just for you too, I'm going to label everything like FNF and then what
That's
the
fine. Yeah.
database is titled just for my own account. And then when we kind of offload this, I'll walk you through like how to rename
Yeah.
stuff if you need it. Okay. So let's go through. We're going to add our all view and walk me through what data that we need outside of the status. So assuming email, we need
Yeah.
email from
Name, email,
people,
number,
phone number, okay,
address.
address, okay. Do you send like a thank you gift or anything to
I
like
have a plan for something.
got it.
I
Okay.
can tell you what it is if you want, but
Yeah, tell me because I hope I get
uh,
it.
yeah, at some point. This is more a
No pressure.
logistical issue, but
Yeah.
there's I don't know if you follow any comedians, but
I follow a lot of comedians. Jesse
you
and I
know
just went and saw Polly Shore and it was the greatest
oh,
night of my
nice.
life. Yeah.
Do you know who Rick Glassman is?
Mhm.
So he does this thing called Taiso cards. I sent you a link.
Okay.
Um, I want to make these trading cards for people I have on.
Oh, cool.
And so, sort of, I haven't figured out what the design would be, but I was talking to
Yeah.
what's it called? I was talking
Oh, these are so
to,
cool.
so something like this.
Yeah.
And so, like, some version of this for every guest. And I don't know if
Okay.
it would be like entrepreneur, like, hey, business rating, skill set, whatever, or like exit or net worth or some like
Sure.
bullshit like that. But I want to
Right.
make you a custom card. And then I
That's really
also
cool.
do leather working for fun. And so the
Okay.
idea was theoretically in a everything works well scenario, can I make a wallet and have the card ready and then I gift you that when you come record with me?
Right.
Um and then you can order them if you want. But like, I mean,
Okay.
that was the idea, but yeah.
Yeah.
um
You know who I think would be so fun for that project would be, do you know who Arturo Torres is?
no, I don't.
So, I don't know if you can see, do you see like the basketball art
Yeah.
behind me?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's him. He's done all of the art for Shea Serrano's books,
Okay.
and he's based in Dallas. And it's very like cartoon comic,
Yeah.
but I don't know how to explain it, like harder colors. I am so
Makes
not a
sense.
comic book person, but like I am obsessed with his art. Like I just think that would be so fun to like do a local Texas artist to bring something in.
Okay.
Oh my god, people would be obsessed
Yeah,
with these cards. It's
I'll get
basically
there.
like friendship bracelets, but trading cards.
Yeah.
Like, how cool would that? I think also selfishly, I would want it digital on top of that so I could
Okay.
use it as my business card, right? Like, oh, here's my like trading card to
Business
give
card.
you. I think it'd be so dope.
Yeah. And
Um,
that's my like flagship, like, hey, I want to do that
right,
every time. But
right.
that just requires me to be on top of my shit all the time. But
Right.
yeah,
I love that. Okay,
aspiration.
so the statuses in your CRM, just to confirm, we have aspirational, prospective, not reached out, booking, and booked.
Yeah,
And
that
and then
works.
we probably need
Yeah.
declined
So
offer.
would booking be like they've said yes, but I just haven't found a date, and booked is I have a date.
Yes. I would
Okay,
also say
cool.
like booking is like they haven't done the form and or like they haven't completed the booking
Okay,
requirement. So
got it.
they're
Makes
kind
sense.
of in that like in
Makes sense.
progress form. Okay, and then
Do you think it
declined
makes sense to
offer,
have a
not
ghosted status?
100%. Yep. Um and I think as time goes on and you review your data, I think ghosted could be one of two things, right? Like they said they were gonna book and they didn't, they ghosted, but then
Yeah,
also ghosted as like you guys booked and then they never showed up to the recording. So
yeah.
we can do that now, or you can fill that in if you want to go that meta with it as time goes
I
on.
mean, I have faith that if I'm booking studio time, someone's not gonna bail on me.
Yeah, you
Um,
would hope.
so I think that's part of why the calm sequence is
Right.
the studio I book has a 24-hour cancellation policy, so I send 48
Hmm.
hours ahead. Like, hey,
Got it.
FYI, just reminder, here's how
Hmm.
you get there. If you need to reschedule,
Hmm.
please tell me now so I
Yeah.
can cancel the
What
booking.
remind me, what are you using for the booking platform? Are you on
So,
Calendly?
for people to book with me,
Yeah, to like schedule the
no,
time.
it's just more ad hoc, right? So based on
Oh,
because
okay.
studio time isn't always available, and
Right.
so I'd be like, hey, do any of these times work for you? Which is times I'm available, and then
Got
if
it.
they don't, I like find other times that the studio is available.
Got it.
The
Because I was
studio
gonna
uses
say, yeah.
Acuity,
Okay.
um,
Okay.
which is pretty shitty from my
Yeah.
understanding.
Acuity's
No shade
trash.
on Acuity, but uh,
It's one of those
please
tools
sponsor
that
me. But
Squarespace acquired and then never did anything with. Anytime
and
I
s-
get a client that's like, "I'm on Acuity," I'm like, "I pray for you so hard."
I've been trying to figure out, is there a way for me to like like pull in the Acuity bookings when they're free
Mhm.
and then merge it
Mhm.
with my calendar and then open that up for the guest? I
Ooh,
haven't
that's
figured
an
out how to do that.
interesting concept. Let me put that down. So I asked because I use cal.com,
Yeah,
and there's a really cool feature on there that allows you to, how do I want to say it? Like if someone books time, you can send a required confirmation at a specific point where they basically have to say yes to the calendar invite again. And
yeah,
instead of like all the emails back and forth. And so I wonder, and cal.com is open developer. And so I almost wonder
yeah.
if there's like a way that you could pull the data from Acuity and have it match your calendar. That'd be fascinating. I can also I'm pretty good friends with the founder, and so I can always like reach out to Pierre and be like, "Hey, is this possible? Like, how do we do this?" Because I wonder that could be easily be an API like Zapier thing that we build too.
Yeah,
Can we pull Acuity and match update our own calendar?
because I tried
Oh,
doing that because you know how Calendly allows you to have like you can add as many calendars as you want, and it
mm-hmm.
just blocks off whatever's like conflicting. I
Yeah,
wasn't able to figure out how to do that from Acuity because they constantly like if
yeah.
someone books, I just don't want that slot open for me.
Right, right. For location, do you want it to be, because obviously we have full address, but do you want to be able to filter like local, non-local,
Yeah, I would just do city maybe,
city?
because
Okay,
city allows me to plan that way. So like if I
okay,
reach out, if I add a bunch of people in New York and they
yeah,
start saying yes, that means I need to figure out a day, a trip, and everything,
right.
right? So
So we have Austin. I'm gonna put. Do you want me to put Manhattan or just like NYC? Does that
just
work?
do NYC, San
Okay,
Francisco,
okay.
and like we can have those for now. Yeah.
Francisco. Okay, I'm going to San Francisco for the first time
Oh, you've
at the
never
end of
been?
October, and I'm so excited. San Francisco. Okay, cool. And
I
you
have
can
some
always populate
recommendations
those. We need
for
them. We
eating
have,
though, for eating,
oh,
but
yeah. Okay,
yeah.
yes. Send those to me. So Jesse and I are going for the Notion conference,
Oh,
and
nice.
we get in Tuesday morning. We need something. We're going to like the wharf area Tuesday, and then we're doing sunset tour of Alcatraz Tuesday night,
Nice.
which I am
Nice.
like I'm so stoked for. My little black heart cannot take it. And then Wednesday we're hiking Muir Woods, and then Thursday's the Notion conference, and then we basically have all day Friday because we don't come home
Okay.
till like 7 p.m. So whatever food you want to submit to me, just make sure that I have it soon so I can do reses if I need to.
Yeah, yeah, I'll send those.
Um, okay,
There's
so
one really good bakery where you'll have to
yeah,
stand in line for 30 minutes, but
okay.
really
I mean,
good
I could do that.
croissants, like really
Okay.
good croissants.
I also am thinking I want to do the Ghirardelli tour just to like bathe in
Okay, I haven't done
chocolate for
that.
an hour, but I don't know. I don't know. Okay. Other than this, what other data do we need from our
Link
guests?
their social links, whether
Okay.
yeah, and also I don't know how many columns you want to add for this, but
Oh, we can do as many as you want.
I've been trying to collect like all their social links so that when we link
Okay.
stuff, I want to link the right things because
Just
some people
easily.
have weird names on like different platforms,
Yeah. What
and
about website? You want website link too, right?
if they have one, yes,
Okay. So Twitter, LinkedIn, I guess Instagram.
yeah, and then if they have a
Okay.
YouTube channel,
Oh, YouTube. Okay. Do you want like I guess Threads slash Instagram is the same. You have the
yeah,
same
I
user.
don't care about Threads. I don't think anyone
Okay,
cares
me
about
either.
Threads.
Instagram, YouTube. Uh do you care about like what is it, Blue Sky or like any of those like really odd ones? Okay.
No, I
So
don't
just
even
the
know what Blue
primary.
Sky is.
It's a bunch of people hopped ship from Twitter when it became X and went over to Blue Sky. It's kind of like
Okay,
it's like server based, like Discord.
got it.
I was on it for literally 30 seconds and I was like, this is trash. I'm out. So, but
The other thing I would
some
add
people love it.
is Google Drive link because a lot of people upload
Okay.
headshots. So I don't know if
Okay.
that's Google Drive. Is that something Notion can store? I know you said Notion Forms because I don't think it's out
Yeah.
yet. But
Yeah. You'll be able, I think, let me, we can actually make a form because I'm allowed to show it now. So here, let's see. Yeah, we can do a file on there so people can just
okay, we'll just do that.
upload their
Yeah,
thing directly. Yeah. And just as a reminder for everybody watching, forms are not officially out yet. So they should be dropping. What we've heard rumors is around the end of October. So you'll have access to that. So you could always, for the next month, upload them manually, and then we
yeah,
can give you the form, and you and I can pop back in and fix this.
yeah,
Also,
yeah.
am I lagging for you? I feel like I'm lagging.
Your head's moving slower than your voice.
Okay. Is that what the hell? I don't know why this has been happening. I've noticed that I've had to like it's the cam link. I have to like change the FaceTime, like change it back and then go back in and I'm
That was
fine.
fine. When you changed, it was fine.
Okay. Whatever. Nobody cares about my face. Okay, so Google Drive, we'll say I'll just put headshot here so we know
Yeah,
that. There was something else. Um, I
there
guess
was a
there is
bio.
bio. That's right. We'll put the bio here. Do you want okay, I think what would be really fascinating too is if we do a tag system and we'll do a multi-select tag of like what industry they're in
Yeah, that
and
would be
or
good.
like what their like quote unquote specialty is. So that way you can also be able to see like, oh, I've had, I don't know, 3 finance bros in a
Yeah,
row. I probably should move this
later down. Yeah,
around and spread them out. So
yeah.
we'll say we'll do industry here, industry slash
How do you do tags? The
expertise.
first time I ever did Notion, a
Yeah.
couple years ago, I made like a global tags database, and then I linked
Okay.
everything to that, and then I would have tags, and then I think the reason the guy suggested that, whoever's video I was watching, was that you can now have global tags across your whole Notion space and not just on one database. I don't know if
Mhm.
that's done better now or not, but just
I
curious.
don't actually know. I would assume what probably that they explained is that you do just a tag. Oh my god, this lag is driving me crazy. I'm so sorry.
You're good. You're good.
This is just gross to me that it's this slow. Maybe we'll just move it back.
Is it your upload speed, or maybe you want to
N-
go down a notch in resolution?
Yeah, maybe. I'm also like I'll just put it on the FaceTime. I don't really care that much. So one of the
I
things that
think
they
the video resolution, if you want to try standard def in the settings, because auto
I
might
think
be
it is
going at
on standard. It's set to 720. Let's see.
standard is 480. Because mine has auto, but I'm
Yeah,
assuming if you go down,
it's set to high def 720p at 60 FPS, whatever that means. I don't
you
know.
want to go 30.
Yeah, I can go down.
It's not
Okay,
lagging
we'll
right
just
now.
see. Cool. Okay. If it does it again, just like
Yeah,
tell me.
I think it's the frames.
Um
The 60 frames a second is a lot.
Yeah, probably. Well, and also I need to honestly, I need to hardwire in. I think the issue is like how my setup is as a total side note, detour in this conversation is that the camera goes through the cam link. And then the cam link, because I'm on the MacBook Pro M1, I don't have a USB port. And so then the cam link is in a dock and the dock comes through USB-C. So
Same for me right now.
I think that's the issue. I don't know. So I
Same,
need to
same for
hardwire.
me right now.
To go back to your tagging thing, what I'm assuming that what they said in that video, and I don't know who did that, but assuming that the global tagging is its own standalone database, and then you're using relations to pull
Yeah,
that in.
yeah.
I mean, relations are relations. They've got no love or update, and so it's probably the same experience. But what I would recommend is we just do it natively in CRM and then use that as a roll up relation on your production schedule. So that way you
Okay,
can easily see, episode 1 finance, episode 2 operations,
okay.
whatever.
Because what I was gonna ask is,
Yeah.
how does this database CRM move down the funnel, right? So, like,
Mhm.
let's say someone's booked here. When we're
Mhm.
doing the assets and everything else we talked about in production, is it the
Mhm.
same column or is like different? Do you understand what my question is?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It would be a different property because you'd have an episode number slash title, which would be the
Yeah,
page entry in that database. And then we would link in
got it.
whoever
You
from your
link it to
CRM.
this. Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Okay, that
So
makes sense. That makes
and
sense.
you know what? We didn't put company name in here. That was the thing we were missing.
Yeah,
We'll put company. Okay, I'll pop me in
yeah,
and then
yeah.
we can use me as an example. Um, I'm not going to show my phone number or my mailing address. Sorry, y'all. You're not getting it. Okay, so we'll do systems. We'll just do linkedin.com. Oh, that's not even spelled right. LinkedIn.com, twitter.com slash. I never know how to just easily type in my LinkedIn URL. I always have to
So
go and grab it, and it just drives me crazy. Sarah is
there's a
awesome.
tool a friend made me download called Mackie, I think, Maccy.
Okay.
It just maintains everything on my clipboard. And
Okay.
so I can just search for the last time I
That
did
you
it
copied it.
and it auto populates. So right now command 8 for me would um paste in
Interesting.
that link from that plugin.
How do you spell it? MACCY.
CCY. I'm pretty sure
Interesting.
that's what it. Yeah.
Oh yeah, clipboard manager. Okay, I need to
Yeah.
get this. Yeah,
Yeah.
I need to get that.
And
I'm
so it
so
has all
tired
of
of
it over there.
finding
Yeah.
links.
Yeah.
Let's do our final views on our CRM and then we'll move over to
Yeah.
production. So we want to say booked is a view. So we'll do, and you can obviously change the icons, but we'll do a filter
Can we
here.
pull the date in whenever we do the later one? Will we be able to pull the
Mhm.
date in here, or do
Yeah.
you think that's not needed?
Yeah, so we'll once we create the production calendar, we'll do a two-way relation, and so on this, you'll be able to see the episodes and the dates that they were on there. So that way, if you ever
Got it.
wanna bring people back, you could also filter by like, "Oh, they were here 6 months ago." Easy
Got
to
it.
bring them back. Yeah.
I
So
think
we'll
you're
do
lagging
booked
just a little bit
here.
again.
You know what? I quit. I quit. I'm just gonna go to I'm telling you, it's gotta be the cam link. So we're just gonna FaceTime it. It's fine. Just ignore my ugly video, guys. Okay, so we have the booked here. So everybody that is tagged as booked. And then we want to do a link here. Let's duplicate this and we'll do prospective slash booking, because until they're locked in, they're still a prospective client.
Yeah.
So we'll do prospective booking, and we'll also do reached out, because then that's them technically doing that. But here, what we want to do is we'll group that data, so that way, what is the booking, reached out, and prospective, and then we'll do prospective last, reached out and booking at the top. So that way you can see people that are active here.
Makes sense.
And we'll put
Does the view get
booked.
limited to only a couple people, or is it just like if there's 100 people, it goes all the way down?
Oh yeah, it'll be everybody as long as they're tagged.
No, no. So what I mean, like in
Um,
this view, if
yeah.
you open it,
Uh-huh.
like in the opened up view that you have,
Mm-hmm.
um, do I
Oh,
just
how
see
many
everyone there?
drop?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So 100 pages is the max. So I just updated your load limit. So it'll be, so if
Okay, got it.
100 people are currently booking, which I don't think you'll ever hit that number that are booking up. I mean, maybe, you don't
No,
know.
hopefully not.
You'll be able to
Then
see
I
everybody.
become
Yeah.
Chris Williamson and do
Yeah.
3 episodes a week on Monday,
Oh
Wednesday,
my
Friday.
God. Yeah, that sounds not fun. Oh, what we didn't add to the CRM is who is coming into town. So let's do,
Oh, that
maybe
would be
we,
good. That'd be good.
uh, I wonder if we should do, if that should be a drop down, and we should say like ATX travel, and it could be next 30 days, next 90 days, and you can just tag it if they've told you.
Yeah.
Or do you want it to be a date? Like if they've specifically said, I will be in Austin October 1. Which one would you
I
prefer?
think I think October 1, so like upcoming
Okay.
travel. And then
Okay.
I just put in if they've told me anything, right?
Okay. Let's do that. And also too, one thing to note, y'all, if you're watching this, is if you organize the data the way you want it in the table, it does not actually reflect in the page. This is a piece of Notion that drives me absolutely bonkers. And so I just really quickly want to go through this and update the hierarchy
What do you
so
mean it
that,
doesn't?
yeah, so, like, do you see how, like, in the database,
Yeah,
it's, like, name,
you've made it.
email,
Yeah,
phone, right? So that's the hierarchy. So if I click open, the actual first property that it's showing is not email, it's status. So you
got
have
it.
to
Okay, okay, okay.
reorganize these to match, which grinds my gears. I like, the
But you
whitest
do it
statement I
once
do.
per page, or you do
No,
it
no,
once
no.
and
So
now
once I
every
do it
page has
here, it'll
this.
be everywhere. Yeah.
Okay, got it. Okay.
So let's so it's probably status should be first, and then let's do email, phone for contact, and then we will do city bio, company, headshot, ATX travel can be at the bottom,
Yeah, and I think
industry.
socials can be at the bottom. That's fine.
Yeah. Email, mailing address, phone, city, bio, headshot. Perfect. And you can always, move these around as you want
Yeah.
to. Okay, so let's go on to, I think we pulled that. Let me check
So one
this
thing that
off.
just came to mind is how we have all the socials, like
Mhm.
knowing what is missing info versus not what is not missing info, right? So maybe not on this view, but maybe on the tabular
Oh,
view, knowing
mhm.
that, oh hey, I have this person, they're saying they want to come on, but I don't have any information about them. So
Okay.
a mental signal for me to go get that, right? Or
Yeah. What would be, actually, this is a really cool formula we can write. What would be um the absolute most information that you need? It would be bio, headshot, one social, like
bio
would
headshot and one social, ideally LinkedIn.
LinkedIn, okay, is
Yeah,
absolute.
and yeah, that I mean that's it.
Um,
Just that.
okay. Yeah, so we could actually write a formula that, if
Because I'm
any of them
assuming
are
if I
empty, it'll
have these
say empty, you
I'm
know?
assuming if I have these three that I have their
Mhm.
email and I am talking to them.
Right.
And yeah, and so yeah,
Mhm.
I like that. I like that idea.
How do people, when people reach out to you versus you reaching out to them, where does that normally happen? Do they
Email.
email you? Oh, okay, yeah,
Yeah.
so you would have their email no
Yeah.
matter what
Yeah.
then.
And I have
Okay.
I have a separate podcast email.
Got it. I think one thing too that I know you use Clay, but one thing that could be really cool too
I
is,
try. I don't actively use it, but
I mean, same, same. I think one thing that would be really cool, and I do this, is I have a label in my Gmail account, and so if I push it into a specific label, it then drops it into my CRM. So if you have
okay.
people reaching out, and this is a very easy zap. If you have people reaching out, you can just label it, and then it'll push it in here, and you could auto tag them as prospective client and drop all the data in
Okay.
there.
Nice.
So we could also, put
Do
that
you do
together.
that with Clay right now or Notion, or what do you do?
Um, I do it in my email to my sales pipeline in Notion. So that's like
Okay.
kind of the first thing. And then, bringing people onto my channel is so new. And so I'm just reaching out to people. Like I don't have
Okay.
people emailing me. I mean, shout out if you want to, like, send me an email to come on. But that's what I do. And normally that works fairly well. So like for instance, great example, I had another Notion consultant had a lead who needed help actually with HoneyBook and not even Notion. And she messaged me and was like, hey, like, can I intro you basically? And because that was an email chain, I tagged it as projects, which then automatically got added to my pipeline,
Nice.
and tagged it. I have like I guess referral is the right term, but basically like where the person came from. And so that tags it as uh referred from other person, right? Like an email introduction. So you could also do different tagging like that in that Zap as well.
Do you use HoneyBook?
Um no. I move more people off of HoneyBook
Oh
than
yeah,
I
that's
should
why. Okay, because
probably admit. Yeah.
I have a
Mhm.
tab open for HoneyBook, and I can't remember why that tab is open. And
Oh.
I'm guessing it
I
was
mean,
probably based off of something we talked about.
probably. I mean, listen, like HoneyBook has its ups, it has its perks, but it was built for
HoneyBook sponsor me.
photographers. Yeah, hashtag don't hate me. But I think like I don't know. I think HoneyBook, and actually, side note, I'm working on a video about all-in-one tools right now, and I've been interviewing people, and I have 2 HoneyBook people in that video. And the issue I think with all-in-one tools is that they do everything subpar because they're focusing on 12 different things instead of making one thing the best that they can. And I think HoneyBook's the same way. Like they've tried to be everything for everyone, even though they're for photographers. And yeah, I don't know. I would not in good conscience put somebody on that platform unless they had the investment to truly build HoneyBook out. So uh thanks. Okay, let's do the production calendar or slash database. So let's start with an inline, and we're gonna call this FNF
Is
production.
Notion Calendar just a different view
Yeah.
for the thing? And
Well,
what was the whole
actually, let's
calendar thing that came
clarify
out a
that.
couple of months ago?
Yes. So Notion Calendar is interesting because if you say Notion Calendar, it technically means 2 different things. So traditionally, you have a calendar view of your databases. So let me put this in here right now. So I'll do today. What do you know what episode number I was
Yeah,
or
I
what I'm
can
going
look
to
at it.
be?
Give me one second.
Okay.
Yeah, I want to say you're 43.
Cool. Okay. And then we'll just put like sample title here so we can name it. So if I do a new view on the database of calendar, this is technically Notion Calendar, right? It's a calendar view of databases. But now that Notion bought Cron and there is an app called Notion Calendar, this is also the like annoying, confusing thing. You still have to have this calendar view that we're looking at right now in order to link it into Notion Calendar and have it in
Got it.
Notion
Okay.
Calendar. It doesn't make any sort of sense, but it is what it is. I
It was
digress.
probably the
So,
fastest way for them to connect both of them
yeah,
and not replace this with the other one because of data model
right.
stuff, probably. But
But the thing that I want to mention though is that here in this calendar, you can see your relational data, you can see dates, you can see notes, like any property that we connect, you will see here. in Notion Calendar, the app, you cannot see anything but the title of the database entry. And that's a big reason why I don't use Notion Calendar, because for me, I still have to I have to click in Notion Calendar to then open up Notion to see the data that I should just see in Notion Calendar. And so it's like so many clicks for me that I just use this view. It works for me. We put on reminders, call it a day. But I think for you, I think calendar is going to be more important for you to see, okay, for the week of October 1st, we don't have an episode scheduled or it's not done,
Yeah.
those kind of things. And then for your booking, I would use, your Google Calendar or whatever to
Yeah. That's
know,
yeah.
okay, we're recording at this time. And actually, I just worked with a podcast network that is, they're a nonprofit. So they mainly do nonprofit podcasts. And we built a separate calendar because they have an in-house recording studio. And so what we did is we opened up the ability that all of their podcasts can book directly in the Notion calendar database and lock in their time. And so there is, potential, like, let's say like you built your own studio, like you could eventually block that
Nice.
in, or even, I mean, honestly, like based on the Acuity stuff, like whatever they're available, you could lock in to this calendar yourself and then just share that and say, hey, like which date do you want? And just pop them in that way. Like that could be something you could do as well. And then have
Okay.
like a public page for the podcast that's like, here's how to prepare, here, all of that stuff within that email sequence you could
Nice.
duplicate as a site. Okay, so let's call this production schedule or episode release schedule, episode release. Okay, let's go back in here and we will add in first our relational data. So this is
Quick
yeah,
quick Notion question. So when you
sure.
have a table view and I'm
Hmm.
putting data here for all my episodes, I'll backfill all my episodes and everything.
Hmm.
Every view of this calendar, by default, I'm assuming is all of that data, and I just
Yes.
look at it the way I want to look at it. Is that correct?
Hmm. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. So the different database views are literally just how you group the data. So
Got it. Okay.
and view it. And then linked databases. So for instance, like let me change this to see a page so you can just see. So if I do a / linked view of a database and I say, oh, I want a production, I want the calendar just here, right? I just want to see
Okay.
the calendar. Let's say we're doing a dashboard.
Got
Anything
it.
you update in the linked view will update the original database too. So it's basically think two-way sync. So,
Nice.
mhm. Okay, so let's do our relational data here. So we're going to click relation and then we're going to select the database that we want to pull the data in. So we'll select our CRM. And the thing here, if you remember earlier, I said we want to do a two-way link relation, which means that we will see the data. Here we'll see Sarah Loretta from the CRM, but on the CRM we'll see episode 43. So
Okay.
it's the same data, but it shows you what the name of it on the original database is, if that makes sense.
Got it. Okay.
But if you don't toggle this on, it basically will only show the data on this side of the database. It won't show on the database that you're linking. And so there are
Got it.
some good use cases for that. I think in your case, having a two-way sync is going to be very helpful. But let's say in the future, like you just want to, you're doing production, maybe we do like a linked view of just New York people. Like you just have like a linked view and you just want to see New York people. You don't necessarily need to show on the CRM that you have this random database of all New York people, right? So that's a variation. So we'll say, and we'll call this episode. So that's the other thing is you can dictate what it's called on the other database. So for this instance, we'll call it episodes, right? So we'll see all the episodes that we're on. So we'll add that relation. And then we want to pull in the roll up. So I'm going to click my name so you can see. And probably for this, we want to see email.
Episode.
We'll say email for them, maybe bio and headshot, I think, will be the most important. And obviously, you can add as much as you want on here.
Yeah.
So we'll say
I think the only
bio.
thing is research notes.
Oh,
So,
yeah. Yep.
because ideally, I want to just, if I find some
Hmm.
stuff or have some interesting questions. Now, I don't know
Hmm.
if that's just a page within the page, or is that
Yeah,
just
I think
something I
that should
write
be a
in the
page
doc?
template.
But
Yeah,
okay,
we'll go through that in 1 second.
yeah,
So we'll see the and probably we'll do LinkedIn too, just to have it.
okay,
Um, so that way you don't have to keep like clicking into things, especially like your editor or whoever's publishing this content doesn't
yeah,
have to like click between all of the stuff. And then let's just do headshot, because this also actually, this is a great thing that you had mentioned earlier, is like I want to be able to see what we don't have from them to
yeah,
make the episode possible, and these are the things that are the most important. And
yeah.
so you can easily see, oh, headshot's blank, like we need to ask them for a headshot. So this is a way to do it without needing like formulas or anything.
Makes sense.
Okay. So now on the episode released, before we forget, let's just add in those properties. So in different views, especially calendar views and gallery views, they don't automatically show all of the properties on the front of the card. And so you can dictate that by going to
Okay.
the 3 dots, and then we'll click properties. And so we probably want to see who the guest is. So we'll say
Can we add a
CRM.
virtual or in person?
Yeah, let's do that. Um, let's do select record. What should we call that? Record session. Is that? And we'll say
Record
in
session,
person and then
record
virtual.
venue.
Yeah, record venue. There we go.
Yeah.
Venue, in person and virtual. Why does it keep doing that? What the heck? Virtual. Okay. And those
Maybe
are the
this is
only two
over.
options, right?
Yeah. Maybe
Okay.
this is overcomplicating, but
That's okay.
it's an Austin studio. Austin has two studios. New York has two studios, and then virtual is just Riverside for now.
No, let's
Um,
do that. What's the
and
first Austin
it's
location?
just Pouch Six downtown,
Oh, that's right. Okay. Pouch 6
and then
downtown.
Pouch Six North,
That's right.
and then
Okay. So we'll do ATX Pouch 6 North. There we go. And
and then
then,
NYC is just Soho or
yeah,
Midtown, and then I can put in the name and stuff.
got it. NYC Midtown. Okay. I didn't even know you recorded in New York. That's cool.
I have one episode there,
That's
um,
okay. It still counts.
and yeah, my
Okay.
sister
So
lives
we'll
in New
do
York,
record
so
venue.
it's free stay whenever I go.
There you go. Okay, so we will do person, email, LinkedIn, bio, headshot. Okay. And then I did mine at the north location. Okay, so let's add that in. So properties, we want to see record venue. And is that, oh, and then we need to put the statuses in here. So production status. And what do we have? We have, do you want it to be, okay, so some of the production trackers that I've built, we've done kind of one of two things. First, we've done like uh, uh, production phase, right? So pre-production, production, post-production, and then we have sub statuses where the production has its own status bank, which is like editing, recording, filming, all of those randoms, like developing the thumbnail. Do you want the two separate, or do we just want one massive status bank?
No, I think separate would be good. I think the question for
Okay.
you is, so like the way I see it is, hey,
Hmm.
you've confirmed to come on. You come on, we record the show. So like recorded is one, and
Okay.
then after recording, data needs to be uploaded to
Hmm.
wherever it goes, and I have a drive where I'm trying to categorize everything in.
Okay.
Um, and so I have that drive, and then I can link that drive here for like, hey, here's where the episode is.
Okay.
And then after the episode is uploaded, then it's the editor's job to shorts, thumbnails, clips, titles. And so I don't know how you break that out.
Okay.
Um, once it's uploaded to Drive.
Okay. So pre-production, production, post-production. Because the other thing is, one thing you mentioned is auto creating the tasks. And so what we can do is we will need a task database, which we'll talk about in a second. But anytime, so like let's say we add an episode and it gets, it's automatically pre-production. Okay, well the task is to research the guest, to,
Yeah.
book the studio time, whatever. And then all of the ones you just said, right? Thumbnail, cutting the shorts, all of that. When we move it into post-production, all of those tasks would then auto create and tag the person responsible for them. So,
Yeah.
so let's go. Okay, so we've got the episode status and then production status. So, let's go through those one more time. So, recording episode,
Recording complete.
recording complete.
Um,
Recording complete or recording uploaded. I feel like those are kind of interchangeable. So, which do you want, both, or do you just want?
so do both because
Okay,
with Pouch and like the New York studio, there's a 24-hour delay in when they give me the data, and
okay,
then the once I get the data, I also need to copy it over to my drive, which is a whole
got it.
thing that I don't even want to get into, and why Google Drive is so weird with these kinds of things. But
Sure.
um, so I don't know if it makes sense. You tell me what makes more sense.
Got it. Yeah, I think having recording complete, yeah, and then you're like waiting, and so
Yeah.
recording uploaded. Um okay, and then what are the production statuses after that? I guess editing. Do you do 2 rounds of editing? So do you do like A roll edit and then B roll edit, or what am I trying to say? You do 1 round of edits for like the actual episode and then 1 round of edits for shorts and things like that,
So
right?
my team just does everything together. So
Oh, okay. So you don't split
like
them out as tasks, or
no.
okay.
No,
Just
so
editing,
yeah, we do as tasks, but
but not
like
status
I'm not
check.
involved in that process. So I just give
Got
him
it.
the data and I'm like, edit this for me. And then once they're
Okay.
edited, if I have feedback, I then give them feedback on that.
Got it. Okay. So
I
we'll
don't know if
say
that answers your
editing and
question.
then no, it does. Yeah. Um, and then assuming then after editing, then you review it
Yeah.
slash share notes. Okay. Review, or we'll say under review.
Yeah.
Okay. And then approved, right? Would be next.
Yeah.
Okay. And then once it goes to
Needs edits.
approved, oh yeah, needs edits. Needs edits. Let's move that up here. And then once it's approved, I would assume when it's clicked approved, then the episode status would move to scheduled slash like public, like ready to publish.
Ready to publish, yeah.
Ready to publish.
And
Okay.
then I think I like the idea of scheduled where hey, scheduled and then scheduled date. And
Okay.
ideally it's the date when it's supposed to go live.
Okay. Yeah. So let's put those dates in here too. So
The other
um
question is for the
record
subtext. So I
date.
think this would be the scheduled date for the main episode, but
Okay.
then for all the subtasks of
Hmm.
clips and shorts, are
Hmm.
those sub pages within this page? Are those sub? How does that work?
Yeah, I would say let's do record date, publish date. Let's do, how many shorts do you normally do per episode?
5 shorts and 4 clips that are like 4 to 6 minute clips.
And each of those get scheduled out separately. Okay.
Yeah,
Honestly, I think we should probably do one property for each of those. If you are, because you did say at beginning, like really being able to track what
yeah,
those repurpose look like,
yeah,
especially like the old ones, right? Like if you want to be pushing in, you can override these dates, or technically they would be blank anyway,
yeah.
and push in new dates for those. So let's do that. So record date, publish date, shorts 1, shorts 2.
So what's the difference in doing this versus a tasks database that you mentioned? Or
So tasks would be like the actual things you're doing. This is tracking your production.
okay, got it.
So
Okay, that's fine.
yeah,
Yeah,
so
yeah,
this is just everything you need to know about this episode will live
Got it. Okay.
here. Tasks are like in passing, right? Once the episode's done, the tasks don't matter. So they
Yeah,
don't
makes
need
sense.
to, yeah.
They don't need to live out.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, they don't have a lifespan, so to speak. But mostly, I mean, honestly, mostly the tasks are going to be to keep your team on track, right? And
Yeah.
know
Yeah.
at all times like what is missing. Like, I don't know, worst case, right? You have to have some random editor jump in. They'll know
Yeah.
exactly what the progress of every episode is. Okay, so shorts 1 through 4, and then we'll say, how many clips did you say? 4?
4 clips. Yeah.
4 clips. Okay, so we'll duplicate this. We'll
So
do
the other
clip
question is,
2.
then how do we track these shorts going on
Mhm.
the various platforms?
Yes. So what I would like us to do is tackle that next. And I think what we should do is we could do, hold on. Let me add in the last clip. Sorry.
You're good. You're
And
good.
then what I think we should do is do a platform multi-tag. So if we do shorts.
I feel like that's some pro level Notion stuff.
So where are we posting them? It's not YouTube. We need YouTube.
YouTube,
YouTube
Instagram.
Reels. Uh-huh. Are you doing TikTok
Um,
or no?
yeah, I just made one. I got banned and then I made another one.
Oh, that's right. You did tell me that. Yeah.
Yeah, TikTok
Okay.
and then Facebook page
Facebook.
or
Okay.
Facebook pod page,
Okay.
and LinkedIn.
Oh, and
And then
LinkedIn.
there's LinkedIn personal page and LinkedIn podcast page.
Okay. Personal. And for the Reels slash Facebook, do those have the variations too?
No,
Or just the podcast
those are
page?
all pod. Yeah, those are all
Okay.
podcasts.
Okay. So I did this as a multi-tag. So for your shorts, what I would recommend is you're just tagging. Like, okay,
Got it.
all
Okay.
4 of them are going on. Every time that we have a date for a short, it's automatic that we're posting to all 4 of these.
Okay.
Because
Yeah, that works.
maybe you have a short where you're like, I'm going to A/B test this and only post it to Reels or only post there. So you would tag, like,
Okay.
I'm only going to put it on here. And then clips the same thing. I mean, clips are longer though, so we should do a variation
So clips
here.
will probably. Well, I probably not gonna do TikTok for clips.
Okay.
I'm happy to post them everywhere. I don't care.
Yeah.
Like I'm not losing anything.
Mhm.
Um, and
But they're gonna be
so
longer than a minute, right?
yeah, yeah,
Okay, so technically on this then YouTube isn't applicable because YouTube Shorts only is a minute long,
yeah.
but
So it'd
you
just
would
be
do
YouTube,
long form YouTube, right?
YouTube. Yeah.
I'm gonna keep TikTok on there just in
Okay,
case you
that's fine.
decide to play with it. And
Yeah,
then you can say, okay, we're gonna post the clips to only YouTube, TikTok, and Reels, right? And so
got it. Okay.
you can track all that.
So the only question I have is, I think that works, but then
Mhm.
how do I track that it was posted? And so if it wasn't posted, maybe we need to go back in. Can
Yes.
we do that or no?
Yeah,
And
we
it's fine
could
if we can't.
do. I'm just trying to think how we could do that. So
And
if
the
you're
other,
saying like, oh, it was posted to, well, we should just do links actually. So this is something that I do on my content calendar is I use the file in media instead of the URL because then you can link in multiple links. And so when I do content, I post to like I take my YouTube script and I turn it into a blog and a Medium article and a LinkedIn article. And so I use this field and will just copy and paste the links to everywhere that I posted it. So I think that's probably the good because then you can see, oh, there's no YouTube link here. Like we didn't post it.
okay.
And so let's do shorts
So
links. And I'll show
okay.
you how to do it in a second.
Okay. Yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah.
and then we'll
And
do
now that you
clips links.
mention newsletter,
Yeah.
I want to like. I mean, I'll also add that into the episode. That was it covered in one of my issues or not?
Yes. And with that, I feel like do you feel like that should just be a checkbox? Like I just
Yeah.
linked it. Okay.
Yeah.
Because I feel like that should be a given every time, especially with your new newsletter.
Yeah.
Um, these? Do you want to go out? Hold on, let me let the dogs out real
Yeah,
fast.
you're good. You're good.
Here, Grace, go outside. Go. Go on, you're good. Go. Crazy dogs. Okay, so let's do. Yeah. Okay. So on the links, what I would recommend. So do you see here how it says like upload versus embed link?
Yeah.
So basically every link you post. So like if I go to, let's just like grab a Medium link here from me. So if I go publish, I'll copy this link. So you can actually also rename these. So once I put the link in here, do you see how it's like super long
Yeah.
Medium? So in my content calendar, what I do is I just rename it and I'll say Medium, right? So then, and then here, let me repost
Oh,
it
okay.
and then
Got it.
I'll
Got it.
rename it. You know what? It's not
Got
going to
it.
let me do the same one twice. Let me just grab a different
Just
link.
add a character or some shit.
Yeah. So it has to be an HTTP. So I'll say that and then I'll say LinkedIn clip 1, right? So
Got it.
you
Okay.
can easily see, and then it basically looks like these. It looks
Yeah.
like options, and then you can just click it and open it. And
Okay.
you can't see because of the way I have my screen share. But I think that's probably the best option for you
Okay.
to then track, okay, here are all of the different links that we're posting. Because like, look, if I say, okay, on our shorts or on the clips, we're going to do YouTube, TikTok, and Reels. Well, if I only see LinkedIn here, then I know it wasn't posted and I can go back and add links later,
Got
or,
it.
in the republish or whatever. And that is so not a LinkedIn link. So let me delete that. Okay. So, do you want to track the link for the newsletter it was in, or do you just want to say you put it in the newsletter?
I mean, trying the link is good, not needed, but I don't
Okay.
mind.
Okay. Cool. Okay. So this is all of our data. So now I think what would be really beneficial, because we now have multiple dates, right? We have multiple publishing dates for every episode. We've got shorts, clips, etc. And so what we can then do is we can do multiple calendar views. So if you want to be able to see, um, obviously like episode release would be the long form, but let's say that we want to see shorts, one, right? We just want to
Yeah.
see the first clips that we're posting. In the calendar layout, you can change which date property it's showing. So
Oh,
actually this is a better example. We should call this recording schedule. And
yeah.
so that recording date, we have a dedicated calendar for everything that's recording. So you can see at all times like where we're at. And then the other cool thing is like, let's say, because I know you batch a lot, the way that
Yeah. Record.
you like you rent the studio. And so you
Yeah.
could actually, instead of the month, you could just see the week here. And you're
Got
like,
it.
okay, this week I'm recording 12 episodes or whatever. So all of this is editable in the layout of
Got
the
it.
calendar
Yeah.
view. And I'll move this back to month. And then I think, okay. So now let's do the other thing is we want to do a status. So you said that you like Kanban boards or Kanban, however you say it. And so let's create production. We'll create a production tab. And this one, we want to edit the layout. I like having the color columns. I think that looks nice. Side peak is fine. Want to wrap all of these. And we need to regroup it. So we will group it by production status. So you can see exactly, or actually first, let's do episode status. So you see what's in pre-production, scheduled, etc. And we're going to show all, but we need to pre-production, production, post-production, schedule, ready to publish, and then scheduled. So you can see the lifespan of each one. And we'll add in our guest and we'll add in production schedule or production status. So you can see the sub status of
Yeah.
everything. And then let's put in the scheduled publish date and the record date. So we'll put those there. And I think that's all the data that you would need here. So that's production. And then let's duplicate this and we'll give you episode production. So then we'll flip the grouping, and instead of episode status, we will see production status. So you can see exactly where everything fits here. And we just need to realign these. So recording episode, recording complete, recording uploaded, editing, under review, needs edit, approved. And then let's add in our data. Our property is already here. And actually, I want to rename this and say, we'll call this guest. I don't know. I think we just skipped that to update. So now you can see me. Technically, I should be under approved, right? Because well, actually, maybe you're still editing my episode. I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay, so that is that. And one thing you could do, personally, when I have Kanban boards, I hate seeing columns that are empty. It just like, it really like messes with my equilibrium. And so in the layout of the board, we can actually hide, or
Empty.
in the group, we can hide empty columns, and it just pushes it over to the side. And actually, I forced all of these. So, why is it sort manual? Why is this acting up? Because I'm under editing episode. So we'll just share this for now. So so this is what you would see, right? If you only have one status, you would only see one column there, just to kind of keep things clean. So that's honestly, that's a personal preference over anything.
Can you just remind me what approved is in this?
We said that it's going to be once you've done edits and you've reviewed it, and it's approved would be that they're ready to publish it.
Approved. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, we can change that.
Let's change it to like upload approved or edits approved or something. Just because I got confused between like a guest approved versus
edits approved. And also, we should probably color code these. You can change. Some people like when things are done that they're green. Some red, like them blue. Yeah. So you can go through and edit those when you're ready. Okay. So the last thing that we need to do is do our tasks and set up those automations. So I'm going to start another database, and we'll say production tasks. So that way you know that it's specific to production. So this is going to be an advanced kind of Notion hack. So let's do first our status. So we'll say, we'll just keep these simple. So haven't started. I don't know why I can't spell correctly today.
Do you have an Elgato Stream Deck or something, or?
I don't. I should have one though. Why?
Because I was saying every time you do that, pro tip, I'm like, you click a button and like there's a screen of like bing, bing, pro tip.
Just like clapping. Oh my God. Yeah. No, I was looking at the Stream Deck. Elgato just came out with one. It's like an add-on dock that you can put your XLR mic into. And so you don't need the red box. And so I'm thinking about getting that one to like clear up you would be disgusted at how
What's your mic going into?
The red box. I have that XLR. What is it called? The Focusrite red box thingy. And so if I get the new Elgato, the XLR would just go into the back of that, and then have all the fun buttons and things. So that's what I'm thinking about getting.
Do you want to see what? My desk is not pretty at all either. I have a Zoom Pro there. I have a light there, a teleprompter there.
Which teleprompter do you have? That one looks like
Elgato.
The same one I have. Oh, okay. No, I have like a shitty ass one from
And then
Amazon.
I have both live streams on, but
man,
it's not fun. It's not fun.
I
mean, you shouldn't see what's behind me. That's a different issue.
Sure.
I think you lost me.
Wait, I've totally lost your video. Oh, there you are.
Okay. Yeah, no, you're good.
Yeah, my whole goal when we moved to the house was to have one desk that's just for streaming and then
Yeah,
one desk for like actually working. And like clearly that hasn't happened because I have a 32-inch monitor. I have the Samsung 4K. It's like a TV slash a monitor. And I'm like, I don't want that in the back of all my videos. And so I have that. And so I end up just like working in this tiny little corner of this desk,
same,
or I
same.
just like sit at the dining room table and God, the cords just I get so much anxiety. I don't want it. Okay, so for your task, do you want to have to approve some of them or do we just want to mark
No,
things as
auto create,
complete?
auto create. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So we'll just do instead of approved, we'll do complete. So haven't started, in progress, complete. Okay. And then we want a due date. Due date here. And and then we
So
want
I
an
mean,
assignment
depending on if this
time.
is truly possible with Notion,
Mhm.
that so I'm trying to drop all videos on like a Tuesday, Wednesday, and
Okay.
so if the full episode is dropping Wednesday, I want
Mhm.
some short last Friday, some short on Monday, some short on Tuesday. Episode drops. Then there's clips and shorts over the next week.
Okay.
So does that mean like it's all relative to the
Yes.
and so
We
I don't know if
can
that's
yeah.
possible. If not, don't worry about it.
No, it is. Let me make a note and then we'll go back to that because
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
that would be automations and sub relations on the database. Let me see. Yeah, we can definitely do that. Let's finish
Okay.
the task and then
Yeah,
we'll go back to
nothing.
that.
Yeah, nothing. Not important, but
Um,
ideally, because I think the reason I want to
cadence
see that
of
is like on a calendar view. If I can see what's supposed to go for all other episodes, I want to
yep.
sprinkle in old episodes as well.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
And so that's sort of
Let's
the
see
thinking.
So, episode drops Wednesday, you said?
Yeah, yeah.
Drops Wednesday, and then, shorts
So like the
short
Friday before is one
Friday. Okay.
short, the
Okay.
Monday is one
Short
short, maybe
Friday
a clip,
before,
then
short
episode,
Monday before. Okay.
and
Then
then episode, and then maybe another short on Friday, and then a
okay.
clip sometime that weekend or that week, and then a short and clip sprinkled in the week after.
Okay. Clip weekend, week
Because I
after.
theoretically have 9 pieces of content per episode. So, what's the
Right.
best way to sprinkle of like,
Right.
hey, stay tuned, this is coming out. Oh, hey, this is live. Did you go check it out? Like,
Right.
whatever timeline makes sense there.
Got it. Okay. Yeah, we can definitely do that. So, okay, walk me through in the pre-production what tasks need to be done. Research the guest,
Yeah.
book session studio time.
Yeah. Research
Okay.
guest, book studio time, 15-minute pre-interview call. That's an optional, not a required. Some guests want it, some don't. Some want
Okay.
to like just align on what we're going to talk about or not.
Sure.
And then the email sequence. I don't know if that's considered
Yeah,
pre-production or not. Like the email
booking
comms.
email. Yeah.
Yeah, just comms to them, right? Booking email, where to
Yeah.
go, what to do, blah blah
Yeah. Okay. And then production tasks.
blah. Edit the
Up-
episode.
Okay. What before that though, where are we uploading it? So like
Okay,
when
Google Drive. Yeah.
okay,
So,
so
um,
Upload to
so
Google
if it's
Drive.
in person,
Mhm.
then I get the video in a drive and I copy over. So that's on me to copy to my drive.
Got it.
And
Okay.
then if it's virtual, then it's download from Riverside and upload.
Got it. Okay. So, upload to Google Drive, um, or download from Riverside. Okay. Okay. And then, edit, the episode. Okay. Create thumbnail. Create thumbnail. Actually, I feel like edit the episode. Do you want it to be for shorts, clips, and long form, all one task, or do you want to separate those out?
Separate tasks.
Okay.
Separate
So
tasks.
edit the episode long form, create shorts, create clips. Okay.
And so thumbnail and title would be applicable for full video and clips. I need
Okay.
thumbnails and titles. Um,
Okay.
and
Create.
then for shorts, I think the only thing I need is like a title and text to put in the YouTube short. And then that would also need to be done for LinkedIn, TikTok, Facebook. Like, what is the text associated to those pieces of content that would go on those platforms?
Got it. Like a just like description.
Yeah, description. Yeah.
Okay. Because I feel like
The
you
thing,
need a description anyway for
yeah,
you for
that
long
would
form
be,
too.
yeah.
So
So, yeah,
okay.
and the full video description
All
would have
platforms.
timestamps and everything and all links and all that stuff.
Right. Okay. Um anything else under production? I guess
Does production, posting is
confirm
post production, right?
guest
Posting to the
contact.
platforms.
Yeah. I'm going to add confirm guest contact socials, confirm guest info under pre-production, right? Because
Okay.
you would want to make sure that you get the headshot and everything before you get to production, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. And then post-production would be schedule all schedule long form, schedule shorts, schedule clips, follow up with guest for release and sharing. What else would happen in post production?
Just posting
Let's
guest
see.
comms to let them know assets, and then
Yep.
um,
Guest comms.
I think that's it.
Okay. Oh, and we should probably add in here because your goal
Newsletter.
is to eventually do like thank you gifts like the
Yeah,
trading or
yeah.
leather. Do you want that to be a task now or do you want to add that later?
I'll do it later because I have no
Okay.
idea on what potential timeline that would be. But
Okay, cool. And then share to newsletter. Newsletter. Okay. Okay, cool. Okay, so now what we're going to do is all of these are going to be database templates. And so it'll all make sense in a little bit. But what I always recommend when people have sections of tasks is that we pick kind of a color coding option for each one. So that way you know, okay, all of the templates that have an orange dot are pre-production. All of the ones
got
that
it.
have green are production, right? And
I like
so
that.
to do that, we'll go into your task. It has to be in the task database. And so we will do the drop down blue button and click new template. And we will say research guest and the status haven't started. Now, let's say, like for you, right? And you'll have to go in and edit these once we move it into your
Yeah,
account. So we'll do this on our own outside
yeah,
the
yeah,
stream.
yeah.
But assuming your editor is in your Notion account. And so in these templates, we can say research guest is always assigned to Abhi. Creating shorts is always, I don't know,
Assigned
Sally,
to,
right?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Right. So when this template gets duplicated, it automatically tags the guest. The
Got
only
it.
thing that you
Nice.
can't do is auto create a due date. So right now it's all relative in Notion. And so the podcast network I worked with, what we did is we instead did a formula where it was like, especially on production, right? Like everything needed for them to be done 2 weeks before the episode aired. And so we basically wrote a formula that said,
So you would just make sure that an air date exists so that everything is
exactly.
relative to that.
And then it calculates it backwards. Yeah. But you would still have to manually put that date in because you can't fill in a property right now. There are updates coming to automations in Notion. I think I can talk about, I don't know, I'm just going to ride the wave. I don't really care. You're going to be able to do formulas in automations moving forward. So this will be possible. Just don't know when. So that was kind of a fix that we did. So it's like, okay, if the air date is October 1st, then production needs to be done by September 15th, kind of thing.
Makes
So we
sense.
can always kind of customize that later on. And then
I
for
have another
pre-production, yeah,
screen interjects an idea. Every
yeah.
time you're like insider information, there's a screen that goes.
I mean, I have to be really mindful and careful, but I'm
Yeah,
also
yeah, yeah.
like, whatever, who cares? Okay, so book studio time. So we'll put that in there. And uh, 15-minute, we'll say schedule pre-interview.
Yeah.
Okay. And let's do, and I'm only going to do these for the first one,
Yeah,
and
that's
then we'll
fine.
go
Yeah.
back in and
Edit after.
send episode comms, and then confirm guest info. Confirm guest info. And I'm going to do one of the production so you can see the difference. So let's say production is, I don't know, we make it green. So we'll say upload to Google Drive. Okay. So do you see in here how we have like some orange and one green? So that way you'll be able to know, okay, all of these tasks belong to
Nice.
pre-production and so on. So now what we want to do is move backwards into our production database, and we're going to set up an automation. So automations are native to Notion databases. They're very limiting, in my opinion, but they can get what we are about to do done, and they work very effectively. So we're going to say the automation name is create tasks for production. And then, so what we're going to do is for the trigger, is when a status, so we'll say episode status is set to pre-production, that's going to be our trigger, then what do we want it to do? We want it to edit pages in the tasks database, and we are going to wait, hold on. Am I thinking about this backwards? If it is changed to is set to pre-production, we want to
Make the tasks, right?
yeah. We want to oh, I clicked edit, not add. My bad. We want to add a page to the task database. Clearly, my coffee has not kicked in. So what we'll do is instead of as empty here, we'll
Are
click on
you
that.
brewed or espresso?
I am on a nasty Keurig
Okay.
right now, but I pre-ordered the fellow Aiden, and I have never been more excited to get a coffee maker. If y'all know the fellow, like the pour over for the water, they basically are making a coffee maker that is
Aiden
pour over quality.
Precision Coffee
Yeah,
Maker.
it's so it's got drip over or pour over quality, but you can set the temperature to the specific degree. You can do a 10-cup pot or a single cup. You can schedule the drips, because the biggest thing with Jesse is like, he is on different jobs
Yeah.
all day, and so he
Yeah.
needs a big cup. And I am like, I just drink my nice little mug. And so we've always struggled with having a Keurig or we used an AeroPress for a while because it just doesn't make the amount that he needs. And so when the fellow pre-ordered, it was like, whoa, like this is the perfect combination, and it's sleek and pretty. So, so soon I will have better coffee, but the Keurig is killing me. I just
I know.
can't.
I know.
I
Fellows
can't
known
handle.
for their
It's
fellows known for
killing.
their grinders.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's beautiful. It's a beautiful piece of machinery. I mean, you pay for it, but I know it's going to be like a 10-year, 5-10-year maker for me. So,
Nice.
okay, so instead of clicking empty, we're going to click the template that we want. So we want to add the research guest, and we don't actually need to edit any of the properties because the template, we've already preset those in. So you could always, let's say like research guest, instead of having it haven't started, you could always tag it as in progress when it gets created. So let's duplicate this, and I'll show you all of them. So we'll do this, and then let's just add in one more. Okay. So now this is our first one. So we'll actually say pre-production tasks here. and we'll create this. Now, you can actually duplicate automations now. You couldn't do that before. So we'll duplicate this and we'll just make our edits here. So now production, when the episode is set to production, we want these templates. And then I'll just delete these because they exist in the other one. So I want you to watch this. So we can see, let me move this so it's closer. So I am going to create a new episode in the production and you'll see all of the tasks populate down below. So we'll start a new one. We'll say episode 44. Would help if I could type today. And where's our status at? See, this is why we need to move these around. So this is episode and we will tag it as pre-production. And there's a little bit of a delay, but as you can see, they all populated automatically down below. And so ideally in here, if we have you assigned to them, you would then on top of it see yourself under assigned.
Nice.
And then you would get a Notion notification that you've been tagged in something. And those can either be push notifications to, your phone or your computer if you have the app, or in the inbox version of Notion here. So you'd get the update here as well.
Nice.
And so then, kind of the next level to this is that, your editor, if you wanted to have like personal dashboards in Notion, we could then do a linked view. And actually here,
and it just shows all of their tasks.
Yeah. And so you would basically filter it, right? So we could do linked view of a database, we'll do tasks, table, and then we'll filter it. And actually, so there's this really cool thing in here. So Notion has what's called a universal me filter. And so if I'm looking at the dashboard, it's just me, Sarah. If you're looking at it, the me filter would technically be you. So you could technically create one dashboard in Notion that you share with everybody on your team that just when they're signed in looking at it, it's what they do. Instead of creating 12 different dashboards for people, you just create one and then have it filtered. And then obviously on here, this is our table view. So we would probably want to do a Kanban to see what is all there. And then one thing that I think is really cool, so we can show all of these, we want to add in our properties and we'll put, oh my God, we totally skipped. Hold on. We totally skipped the most crucial thing is linking the episode. Let's go back in here. And
you mean linking the guest from CRM? Oh no,
the production episode. So let's do production here and we'll say episode because obviously we want to know what task belongs to which episode. I can't believe I forgot to do that.
But doesn't that? Oh, okay.
Because it's
creating the
separate
automation, it doesn't automatically link.
Yes. Why does it keep changing the title and not? Okay. So our episode, and then we'll name this tasks. And so that is that. So now we'll leave that blank and we'll go back into the automation on our production. And we will edit this. So now we do want to edit a property and we'll select episode. And what we'll do is here, we'll say page that triggered the automation. Nice. So it automatically links it.
Nice.
So let's do this and then we'll re-trigger it so we can see that it worked. So we'll do this. Oh, and actually you guys can see I have the ability to do custom formulas that just hit my account. So
it's not live yet for others.
You're seeing that now. No, I don't know. I don't actually know when people are getting access to that. I haven't really been paying as much attention to releases as I should. Okay. And then on here on the properties, let's show the episode and the due date and assign to. Okay. So let's start a new, we'll say episode 44 and our production episode status is pre-production. So those will populate when they're gonna do it. Why is it so delayed? Stresses me out when I live stream and things are delayed. It's like, come on, dude.
I have this rule where I'm like, I'll never do public math, and I'll never like. There's some things you just don't do in front of
I
other
just,
people.
I know. But it's like we created it. It's all here when the episode. Is it just delayed? Let's do a hard refresh. Sometimes it's just delayed. I don't know. Stresses me out though. Okay, so now here they are. So now
Yeah,
you can see that it's on episode 44 that they're linked. And so if I go into episode 44, all of the tasks are here at the bottom. And the next thing that we want to do on here is when we have relational data, you can actually show that quote unquote like roll up data in here without having necessarily the roll up. So if we click the three dots, I can add in due date, status, and assign to. And so, like schedule pre interview, let's just say due date is today. And so, if now I go back in there, you can see all that data here. So, if you're just in
nice,
the episode page, you don't have to worry about clicking out and doing all of these things
nice.
and kind of going that way. And so now if I move it over to production, it will add a task for the I think we did
Google Drive.
upload to Google Drive. So now
Yeah,
you'll see that auto
nice.
populated for you. So now we've achieved the automatically creating tasks, and that's, I know that sounds really complicated, but that's how you do it. It's really like once you get it, the like getting
Yeah.
used to auto creating them and using the templates, like it is such a time saver. It's not even funny. Like anytime I show people this, I'm just like, I'm a magician.
Is
Sponsor
it
me.
possible to color code the episode some way, or because I'm just thinking from a
Yeah,
point
you
of
would do
view
that with
of
an icon. Mhm.
okay,
What would
because
you want to
I'm
do?
just anything. Let's just try something. We can change it later. I'm just trying to think
Yeah.
from a point of view of like, let's say I start backfilling this with the last 10 episodes,
Okay.
and there's stuff that like for the coming 6 episodes, I'm just
Mhm.
afraid that there's going to be so much production tasks created
Sure.
that how do you
Yeah,
see
what I would
through the
actually
bulk or volume?
yeah, what I would recommend since you're back adding is to actually pause the automations until you're done. And then anything that like once you back add, let's say like episode 1 through 40,
Yeah,
clearly those are done. And
yeah,
so once you add them, then turn the automation back on. So what you can do if you click the three dots on the automation, you just click pause.
yeah. No, so that's fine. But
Mhm.
like
Yeah.
episode 37 went this week.
Mhm.
And so
Mhm.
let's say I add 38 to 44. And so
Mhm.
for the six going forward, it would
Mhm.
auto create a lot of these tasks
Well, what I would do is
because they're still
assuming
not done.
yeah, I wouldn't put them in pre-production, right? So you can kind of skip over those. If they're either in post-production or production, you're going to need those tasks anyway. And so I would just add it in here under what it belongs under, right? So
Okay.
like if episode, let's say like episode 30, and we haven't added in the tasks yet, but like
Yeah.
episode 37, just put it under post-production. And
Okay.
so it
And then
won't
it would
create any of the tasks before
no,
that
yeah, that's
status.
fine. But
Yeah.
then even for post production, there's
Mhm.
theoretically 10 or 12 tasks that would be made.
Mhm.
And so when I look at the
Yeah.
second view, there's
Mhm.
now 12 into 6, which is how many? 60 tasks.
Right.
So
Yeah,
I'm
I would
guessing filtering
say
is just makes sense, but yeah, that's fine.
yeah. Yeah, yeah. I would say, that was the other thing I was gonna show you on the tasks is that we can group this by episode or
Yeah.
sorry, subgroup this by episode, and so that will kinda
Okay,
keep
yeah, I
things
like that. Yeah, I like
clean.
that. Yeah, 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 I like that.
Um,
Yeah, yeah.
and obviously, like, if things have been done and this is part of, like, the data migration conversation is, like, if you for episode 37 have already like done half of these and you don't want to keep if you don't want a bunch of like completed tasks on old episodes or whatever, like you can just delete the entry. You know what
Yeah,
I mean? So
makes sense.
like
Yeah.
on episode 44 you're like, "Oh, these have been done." Or like
Just
even
exit. Yeah.
the pre-interview since it's optional, just delete it. Just highlight
Yeah.
and delete
Okay.
it,
That
you
works.
know?
Yeah.
Um and then and actually this needs to go yeah, so even, like, if we're looking these should technically be done, right? So you would be able to see just those. And honestly too, like, if you wanted to keep this clean too, like, complete you could always force hide the complete status. And then you're just seeing that, like the active task,
Okay.
so to speak.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I think those
And
are
we can always
fine. Yeah.
play with play
Yeah.
with different things too. So, but yeah, the subgrouping is so nice because also to this count, so you can also dictate like this little 3 number, you can dictate what you see here. So like percent not empty, like status, like you have 100%
Makes sense.
statuses that are, done or whatever. So you can see those. So, oh, and then to go back to the icon thing, I think one thing that you could create a quote unquote like emoji system for, like if it's back added or already published, and you can do that with templates, right? So you can always set an emoji based on different things. So like the I guess you could technically call it repurpose. Like your original episodes, you could always set an emoji to say like, yeah, it's not it's already been published, but like we're doing more on it. So you can see like, why do I have like episode 1 and then episode 44? So you could also
Makes
do
sense.
that. I
The
actually think
other,
that that's valid to have another status here that's like published but resharing or something. I don't
yeah,
know what we want
yeah,
to call it. Maybe repurposing. Is that easy
yeah. I
easy
think
enough?
repurposing works. Yeah.
Okay, let's do that. So that way or maybe we call it like backlog eventually, right? So okay, like this is already the long form is out. We're pushing this again because it did well, or whatever. Scheduled. Do you want actually that brings up a valid question too. So once it's scheduled, I feel like the next thing would be to push it into
Repurpose.
repurposing, or do you want something in the middle that's just like published, and then when you decide to repurpose, that's when you drag it into the next one?
Um, I think published makes sense because I think I'd
Okay.
wait a couple months before
Okay.
bringing stuff back in the rotation.
Okay. Let's do that. Republish
I
or
think the only
publish.
other question I had is if you go
Yeah.
to like episode 44, you see how all
Mhm.
the tasks are there.
Yeah.
Um, m- so if I'm doing research, where do I
Mhm.
put that? Do I put it in the research task or do I put
Yes.
it in
Yep.
this?
So let's create a episode template. So this is what I would recommend is we have episode template. So on here, we would do page content. So I would do guest research, get we'll call it episode research.
So
Episode
ideally in the
research.
tasks,
Mhm.
no data should be stored in the task because that's
I
going to get
think if
wiped.
it's the episode, yeah, if it belongs to the episode, it should live in episode. If like you have a note, let's say the task, you're giving notes on the thumbnail, that's a task, right? Because you're like,
Yeah.
go back and edit this. I would put the notes for that there. But ideally, let's say you have a guest returning, you would look at the episode they were on before for research and
Yeah.
context,
Yeah.
not at a random task from 6 months ago. Because the other
But
thing you
then
could do, yeah.
so like for YouTube description, shorts description, where do those things
Mhm.
go?
Those I would put in the episode template.
In this
So,
template.
and we'll
Okay,
create that
nice.
as a
Okay, yeah, that
section.
works. Yeah,
Because the
yeah.
other thing I was thinking too, something that we could consider is after a certain amount of time, these tasks get deleted. So like once like do you really need a task that says create thumbnail from a year ago? Probably
Probably
not,
not.
right?
Yeah, yeah.
And so you could also work through these tasks where they just auto delete. And so you're only seeing, the current episodes that have the task for them if you wanted to. But yeah, I would say anything that is episode specific, you put in the episode template. And then anything that's like edits on a task, you put in in the episode.
Got it. Okay, that
Um,
works.
so we'll just do this emoji for now. So we'll say episode research, and I can just put a couple bullets here for you.
Yeah.
And then, because I know the other thing too is like you have your notes when we record. And so ideally, like you could easily have your iPad or your
Yeah.
laptop
Yeah.
on the table and just pull this up
Yeah.
for while you're doing it, right? So now let's do shorts, titles, and descriptions. So then we can use a toggle actually, and we can say shorts 1, right? Because if we want if we want different ones for each one, then you can go in here and you can say title, description, and plug those in. So now we can duplicate those. And then we can do clips, clips, titles, and descriptions. And then we can basically just duplicate all of those, move those down, and rename this clips. And then we just need one section for, actually we should do for the actual video, we should have that in here. So we should do, let me edit a few of these, open this up. So guest can show here. And actually that's a great, let me put this up here. We never rearranged these. Episode should start pre-production. Recording episode, that doesn't need that there. We should add a property here, because assuming the episode title you put in here
Is what goes live.
is what the official title of the episode is. And then, but let's add a text and we'll say description, because then you can put the long form description in here.
Can that be a really long text field? Does
Yeah.
it? Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it doesn't have a
Let's
cutoff.
do YouTube episode title as a field, because
Okay.
I'm pretty sure I would just want the name to be the person's name, because
Okay.
I may not remember clickbait. And
Yeah. Yeah. YouTube title. Okay. YouTube title, YouTube description. We should probably drag these up. Publish date, record date, and then the description, the venue, the guest, and then their content here. And then the shorts, the clips, shorts links, or shorts platform, clips platform, shorts links, and then newsletter. Okay, that tackles everything. And then what else would you want to have space on?
I think just
Or
pre-interview
space
notes, if
for?
any.
Okay, yeah, pre-interview notes. Would you want that before or after episode research?
Before.
Okay.
And then
H3
yeah, I think that covers
pre-interview.
everything. I think the only thing I would
Oh,
change is the only thing I
what'd
would
you?
change is like within the shorts and clips, if
Mm-hmm.
those I don't know what's the list that Notion has, the drop down stuff. They're already
The
drop downs.
toggle.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
the I can just see a slightly different description for every
Mm-hmm.
platform, and so just the
Mm-hmm.
best way to capture that.
Oh
Um,
yeah. We'll say uh platform. Yeah, we can just add that. And then, well, I get, okay, so you're saying like if shorts 1, you put it on reels, that might have a different title description than what you put on YouTube shorts?
yeah,
Okay.
because I think there's
Um
something with like hashtags and the amount of characters each of them allows.
yeah,
Insta allows linking. Sorry, YouTube allows linking to an episode. TikTok
yeah.
is weird
Let's
about like, so
do
just
Yeah, let's
capture
just
that.
do this then. So we'll do
Yeah.
Instagram Reels, TikTok, YouTube Shorts.
Do you post on TikTok or no?
Oh no, I deleted TikTok. I've never been more happy with my life. I was addicted, dude. Like I was like, I just, I would wake up and want to scroll. And that's when I knew like it was time. And honestly, like even switching to YouTube Shorts, like it doesn't even hit that dopamine the way that TikTok did. So I don't even look at YouTube Shorts really,
Yeah, yeah.
because it just does not hit the way that it should. And so I'm really glad that I got rid of it. For the LinkedIn personal versus podcast page, are you doing the exact same thing, or are you going to switch those up too, do you
Probably
think?
switch it up a little. I think
Okay,
podcast page is going to be more general. LinkedIn will probably be more my voice,
got it. Okay.
ideally.
So we'll do this. And
What's one
then,
pro Notion shortcut people don't know about?
oh
Like
God.
something that's like super undersold.
Like a built-in feature or like a user hack?
Either or.
I think honestly, like the template, auto creating the task templates, based on automation is probably the most used hack that like clients that I work with don't know about. And like
Okay.
every single person's like, oh, I wish like we could have these tasks auto created. And I'm like, well, you can. I think that, and I think also the universal me filter, because I get a lot of
Okay.
teams who are like, I want 12 different dashboards for every single person, because
You're like,
the home feature doesn't work.
yeah,
Like it's a good start, but like people still want custom dashboards. And so it's like less work I have to do, like just universal me it.
but that's
Somebody
still
just
12 times the cost. So,
yeah. What is alt? Oh, I'm reading this backwards. Hold on. All of our comments are backwards on my teleprompter. Abe on LinkedIn said alt plus drag to duplicate something is mine. Yeah, you could definitely do that. Or yeah, just like the command D to duplicate blocks are really nice. But I think other than that, I think those are kind of the only ones that I mess with. Okay, does this work
yeah.
if we have okay, so let me duplicate these. Let me bold these because we need to have good formatting. So now you'll be able to say, okay. And one thing that kind of grinds my gears that you can't do is like, let's say you wanted to say, like, you checked off that you did Instagram Reels, right? There's no way to do a checkbox plus a toggle. And so usually when something's done, I just add in like the check emoji before. So you kind of
Okay.
know like, okay, this one's been done. Or, you could do command shift S to like cross it out to say like, oh, we're
Yeah.
not doing it, or you just delete it. Okay. So let's then duplicate these for all of your shorts. And then we're going to go 2, 3, 4. And we're doing the same for clips. So I'll
Yeah.
just duplicate these. And then one thing to remember is that if you update a template in Notion, it only updates moving forward when you duplicate the
Not go
template.
back. Yeah.
It doesn't go backwards. And so, when you start using this, if you're like, oh, I want to add this or get rid of this, it won't mess with anything you've had prior.
Makes
So
sense.
now if we go into production, so the other thing is that I set this template to be default. So anytime you create a page, it will automatically create everything we just put in the template. If it wasn't a default, let's say the empty page is default, then when we go to add in a new page, down at the bottom, it
Yeah.
gives you the
Yeah.
template
Yeah. I've seen that. Yeah.
options. Yeah. Okay, cool.
I
We've
tried
got a,
onboarding onto Life
yeah.
OS and
Oh, okay.
the other one. Fuck, what's his name? Thomas Franks, whatever his thing
Oh,
is called.
Creator Companion?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not whatever the basic one is, not the creator one, just like
Mm.
basic life management.
Mhm.
And I told you this at the podcast. Both of them,
Yeah.
you start out with setting yearly goals, and I'm like,
Yeah.
if I was um obedient or like mature enough to have yearly goals
Mhm.
decided a year in the future, I wouldn't need a Notion space to manage my life, right? But
Yeah. Yeah. No, I hear you. I'm
it's,
like, "Oh, people who can create goals, that must be nice." Like but I'm also like a pivoter. Like I mean, you know this. Like I see something that needs to change and I do
yeah,
it. I don't like set a goal and be like, "Oh, I'm going to launch this thing or do you know, it's like just fucking do it. I don't know, but that's just me.
Yeah.
I couldn't
One
imagine living
thing
a life where I have to like plan out doing things. And like no hate to anybody who needs to, but I'm just like I could never.
One thing I think we should do some a couple weeks whenever you wanna is I've
Yeah.
been trying out a lot of AI tools, and so I wanna
Okay.
try just building live, right? Like you tell me, hey, let's do
Let's
this,
do
and
it.
I want to
Yeah.
try to see how realistic is it to actually go from no
Mhm.
code prompting to actual live app within a couple hours. Because
Sure.
people say it's possible. I'm like, I know, but like you run into so many deployment issues. So if
Yeah.
there's something you want to try out, happy to try something out.
I'm down. Well, and that brings up an interesting conversation. So I'm going to put it in our chat and then I'll screen share. So I went to this event at Capital Factory 2 nights ago. It was called Hustler and Harmony Solopreneur Playbook. I literally went just to like network because I'm like, oh, if these people are solopreneurs, like they should be hiring me for work or whatever. So let me screen share. So
Yeah,
the
I
the
see that.
event actually was interesting because it actually was all about AI. And the speaker, Chris, he brought up this website called Marbleism that you have to apparently have like the perfect prompt for it to work
Yeah,
and
yeah.
it builds an app in minutes. And so the whole conversation in this meetup was like, who owns the IP of this, right? Like if you use this tool to build your app, who technically owns it? And also like how do you even get access to the code? I don't know, right? But like stuff like this I think is so fascinating. And then he brought up, have you heard of that tool? There's an there's an
There's an
AI
AI
for
for
that.
that.
Have you
Yeah, yeah,
been
yeah.
on that website? I didn't
Yeah,
even know about it. And they brought it up in this meetup and I was like,
yeah.
"What is this?"
There's
And
over ten
so
thousand
all of
tools.
that, I would love to on top of building all this to say, I think it'd be really fascinating to talk about IP and ownership within the developer space to like cuz I'm like if I ask somebody to build it like what does that look like if I have AI involved and I'm not even from like I mean, I don't care who owns the IP, but like if I want to go get seed funding or go into Series A, like, am I allowed to do that if I used Marbleism to build it? You know?
My take on
I don't
IP
know.
is that with software, you can't really protect IP because
Yeah. Yeah.
someone could just go code what you made. And so,
Mhm.
I mean, I feel like it's not really something you can, yeah, you can file patents and stuff, blah, blah, blah. But
Sure.
I don't think IP is something you can really protect in software because I'll
Yeah.
just go clone it. I mean,
Right. I mean, I think that's any at this point in what's the version of the internet we're in? We're in uh the third phase of the
5.0.
internet,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. I don't feel like I mean, yes, IP is real, but no one has original thoughts. Like everything is a mold of somebody else. Like, I mean, look at literally the directory that Nick and I are building, building ops department, which shout out, it's launching very soon, like next like 2-3 weeks. So hashtag come hang out. But I look at that and it's like, I'm not the first person to build a hiring directory. I'm just filling a gap. I mean, that's literally all that we are doing as developers, innovators, creators
Yeah.
is filling gaps. And so at the end of the day, it's like, okay, if someone wants to steal what I built and make it better, like all power to y'all, like less work
100%.
I've got to do
100%.
long term, but I think it would be really interesting to look at building. I mean, you and I have talked about it. Like if we long term goals, I think where I see, my space moving, it not my space, the platform, but my space is in what I do for clients is like I see it's like with all this AI and everything, what is the point of having an interim platform to do project management, right? Like I think in the next 5-ish years, people are going to start moving to custom solutions. And I see myself, I mean, you guys know watching, I'm very adamant about not being or rather being tech agnostic rather than platform specific. And it's like if I, hi, what are you doing? Hi, Mama. You're such a good girl.
It's funny.
Um,
I just looked on Twitter,
uh-huh.
and Notion's trending for some reason.
Yeah, because they released the new version of AI this morning.
Okay.
They are
And
officially
then
a
also
fully
Jennifer
AI-driven
Lawrence,
platform. Oh, interesting. What's trending on mine? But yeah, what I was saying is like if I am going to be able to stay doing what I'm doing, I'm going to have to build custom solutions moving forward and
yeah,
like build my own software to manage clients. Like I can't, I try to not be a pessimist, but I am, right? Like yes, Notion is worth $10 billion, but if they decide to sell or go public, I mean, we literally are seeing the repercussions of Squarespace going public and pulling back and being bought by private equity. And so if Notion up and decides like, oh, we don't want to do this anymore, we're going to sell to Google or whatever,
yeah,
I don't have a business. And so I think in the next 5 years, I am going to have to be building white labeled full on tools for clients in order to get ahead of the curve. And so that would be a really interesting build for us to all
try
this
it.
to say to try out and see like what would that even look like, right? Because we think about SQL, right? Like that was the first database I ever built was on
Yeah,
Microsoft Access, and that's technically white label, but it's still server based through
yeah,
Microsoft. And so I think it's a bigger conversation of what servers look like and data storage, and do you go cloud, do you go native, all that to say. So um okay, I didn't realize we're 5 minutes over. So I feel like we're at a really good stopping point. I mean, there's some things we
yeah,
need to judge offline together. But I'm really happy with where this is at. And if we look back at our original goals and pains, really the only thing we didn't talk about is automating the comm cycle, which we would need outside tools to do that, right? Whether
yeah.
that's ConvertKit or even like I feel like you could easily even do a Gmail template, and then in Zapier, you connect this
Just
with
ping it. Yeah,
Notion and then push the template and send it. So there's definitely ways that we can work through
yeah.
that. But for everybody watching, I'm going to say our goodbyes. I really appreciate we have 43 people on this live, which is wild to think about. I am so grateful for all of y'all. But anytime that you have questions, comments about Notion or your workflows, you guys know my DMs are always open. I am available. I am happy to chat all day, every day, all day long. And then if you haven't gone and listened to Funds and Founders, please go do it. I'm going to selfishly also say, listen to my episode when it comes out
4 weeks.
shortly in 4 weeks. Listen to it over, I guess,
We'll bump it
Halloween
up. We'll
week.
bump it up the
No,
list.
it's okay. Totally fine. But yeah, definitely go check out the podcast because I think it's different than most business podcasts. I think, one thing that you do well, and we've talked about this, is really pulling back curtain on things that people don't normally talk
Yeah,
about and really talking about creator journey and perspectives where instead I feel like all these other podcasts are like, let's talk about your accolades. I'm like, no,
here's how
no,
to
like
make
let's talk about
10K a
my
month. Here's how
failures,
to sell a course. Here's how to fire.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly. So yeah, all right. Let's call it a day
yeah.
and thank y'all so much for watching.
Thanks, guys,
And
and
I will
thank you
yeah,
for
talk to you later.
helping flesh
Yeah.
this out.
Anything last thoughts that you want to plug?
Just hire Sarah, and there's a no discount code in the comments.
Hashtag sponsor. Cool. All right, y'all. We will see you later.
Thanks, guys.
I don't know why is the end stream not happening? No. No. It won't let me click
This is what
end.
people want to see. This is what people want to see.
It literally will not let me click end stream. I don't know what I'm doing. Maybe I'll just close it and hope that I'm so confused. Can you click end on your side?
I don't even have an end.
What the fuck? Okay, well, I'm just going to close the tab and hopefully it ends. And I will text you here in a minute.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Thanks.
Bye.